as has Rondon and Alex towards the end of the first half. But Brentford have shown more quality, and they deserve a lead by a single goal to nil. Welcome back then to our coverage of Brentford versus Everton. It is 1-0 to the Bees as you rejoin us. It doesn't look like we've had a change. Self-top Tom Hill and Paul Shavakovic bringing you all the coverage of what was a interesting first half. 20 minutes of good football, 10 minutes of quite intense, and then the rest of it was a little bit flat. And that'll suit Brentford down to the ground because they've got a goal advantage thanks to Ivan Toney's 22nd minute, or probably 23rd by the time he took it. But around that time, he got a penalty after Onyeka was booted in the face by Andros Townsend. And straight off the start of this first half, Brentford have got a long throw in which Charlie Goode's going to take when he gets the chance. He's wiped the ball down with the towel and he's going to launch this ball into the box. He goes for power, plenty of height on it as well. Everton players get to it, a fall to Canos, who volleys it over from just in between the penalty spot and the edge of the penalty box. So I'll run you through the two teams before we get to Paul's thoughts in the second. Brentford go with Fernandes, Pinnock, Janssen, Goode, Henry, Norgard, Onyeka, Janelt and Canos. It's Mbeumo and Tony. Everton, Pickford, Coleman, Godfrey, Keane, Lucadine, Iwobi, Allen, Townsend, Doucouré, Gordon and Rondon. In terms of my perspective of the game, Everton have got to do an awful lot if they want to even get a draw, never mind a win. I think Brentford will be still very tense. They can't take their foot off the gas. But for me, it's Everton that have got to improve rather than Brentford, kicking on for a second.
I think so. I think Everton have to improve to make more of a mark on the game. But Brentford, as you say, if they start sitting back and just hoping that they're going to see out a 1-0 win here, that's going to be the wrong approach as well. They need to be thinking about going on the front foot wherever possible. It's the defensive organisation from Brentford that needs to be solid in this second half, because you do feel that at some stage, if the scoreline stays as it is for any length of time, there is going to be just that natural backing off from Brentford, and Everton are going to start to see perhaps more time on the ball.
Yeah, it's out towards Coleman. It's a beautiful ball that from Jordan Pickford, as we spotted earlier in the game. Gareth Southgate is in attendance at Brentford. Paul believes if he's got the time, he'll get across to Chelsea for later on, and I think that'll be a fine afternoon in the capital as we see the ball with Allen. Out wide it goes. It's towards Gordon, who was Everton's best player. The youngster is out wide. He's driving at Goode now. Takes two of them on. Flicks it down the line to Iwobi. Wasn't enough power on it. And Iwobi gets it back, though. It's good play from Iwobi. It's too relaxed from Janssen. Allen's going to try and shape to shoot. Delays it. It's crafty play from him. Out to Gordon again. He takes it in his stride. Tries to look back and flick it into the feet of Lucadine. He floats in across. Janssen gets it away. Rondon had fallen over in the back play. He's claiming he was pushed by Pinnock. It's behind for an Everton corner.
Everton corner. So this is exactly the start that Everton wanted in the second half. Less than 3 minutes in, they've got their first set piece. Chance to test this Brentford defence. In fact, no, there may have been an offside in all of that because it's not a corner.
Well, yeah, that's the only reason I can think of, unless Rondon has been judged to have pushed. But I thought he was the one that had been fouled rather the other way around. But he's not got too many complaints.
That said, they've not shown us the linesman holding his flag, so potentially it could have been a foul then.
Yeah, interesting. I felt a bit sort of for Rondon because he had that one season, didn't he, where he got a few goals. I think he's a player that would just thrive off somebody to play up front with him. If he had somebody like Richarlison alongside him, I think he'd be a really good player to play alongside. It's the obsession now in the modern game of a one-man attack, isn't it? It's centrally anyway. Liverpool, of course, play with the 3 forwards. As here is Iwobi, tries to get down the line. He goes back out to Lucadine. He tries to cross it. He slips, and it's an important slip as well because he just falls over as Rondon gets in. He goes for goal and he volleys over the top of the crossbar from what was an incredibly tight angle. The benches this afternoon for the respective teams. Brentford have Baptiste, Sorensen, Cox, Falls, Goros, Jensen, Rasmussen, Thompson and Visa. As for Everton, they've got Begovic, Branthwaite, Delph, Dobbin, Gavimin, Gray, Kenny, Sims and St. Tosin. And Paul made a great point in the first half about the only team with more injuries than Brentford at the minute that are affecting their first team squad is probably Everton, as they've just managed to win another challenge. But without Calvert-Lewin, Davies, Gomez, Holgate, Mina and Richarlison, let's be honest, all those 6 start.
They do. That is the problem. Every team are going to have injuries, but when you look at that Everton injury list, to have all those players out and all of them would be pushing for a first team place, just shows that Benitez really has been starved of a lot of his squad so far this season. Yeah,
it's a big old ask, is that, as Mbeumo flicks the ball on. He was trying to get it towards Onyeka, who I've been quite impressed with those forward runs of his. He's almost like the furthest man forward at times, with Tony dropping in, and Bournemouth's putting pressure here on Godfrey. Godfrey does actually turn him away from trouble and go out towards Keane, who picks it down the line. It's a simple ball to Gordon. Gordon loses it. Challenge that from Good, who can't keep it in play to a teammate, but he can concede a throw, and Gordon gets up off the deck. 5 minutes in, still Brentford 1, Everton 0, and it's just a very even game like the first half was.
It has, yeah. It's been a very even game. Not too much happening in front of goal. Plenty of endeavour in midfield from both teams. Sergi Canos is asking for a yellow card there, and the referee will oblige.
Yeah, Good. Risky that really, because he's now got the entire half with Everton running at him. Sergi Canos, he's going across. Was it Canos that got booked instead?
Yeah, I think it was Canos that pulled back on his man, and he's got his 4th booking of the season. He's close to a suspension now.
Yeah, the cut-off is a few weeks away. The reason why Richarlison's in the news is because Rafa Benitez has done an interview where he said he's had a word with him because he's suspended today for 5 yellow cards before the end of November, and he's a forward. And he's told him he's got to grow up a little bit with his theatrics where he doesn't get the call his way, as Brentford come forward on Yeka, turns inside, ball won by Allen according to the official. It looks a bit risky. Pickford not happy at the level of intensity in his defence. That's perfect from Rondon as he holds the ball up back to Townsend, who goes over the top for Iwobi. Iwobi's asking so much of the Brentford defence with a charging run forward, but they deal with it with Janssen. I thought Townsend's pass played into Brentford's hands there as Canos gets away from Gordon. Townsend played the ball through the middle of the park, where the only 2 players in a Brentford shirt were stood there.
It was, yeah. I mean, again, Brentford don't want to be caught too static because there's still plenty of pace in this Everton front line, particularly with Iwobi and Townsend. But that's a good challenge there from Norgard to win the ball back for Brentford. It
is. He sets off on his way, then does Mbuemo, and he's charging down the right side. He's going to try and cut this ball back. He's dribbling away from trouble. He wants to lay it off. He's looking over both shoulders and eventually lays it into the path of his teammate Sergi Canos. It's walking pace now, though, because something's happened further up the pitch, and Luca Dean is in a heap holding his left ankle.
He is, yeah. Brentford are sportingly putting the ball out, but I think everyone pretty much stopped it. We'll see what happens as this ball is played. Digne, well, I tell you what, he's been caught by the studs of Norgard there. That's a strong challenge there from Norgard. I mean, Canos is quite unpleasant in standing over Digne, saying stop sort of diving around, stop lying around them. And looking at that replay, I think that Digne was well within his rights to hit the deck, because that was a strong challenge there from Norgard.
Yeah, it certainly was. I'm just looking to why Man City West Ham hasn't restarted.
I can suggest that it was we saw signs of the pitch is completely covered in snow, and they're actually trying to clear not just the penalty area lines, but actually the whole pitch. So they need to wait for that to happen before they can restart. Yeah,
snow delay. Good research, Paul. I didn't see the screens walking back into our studio. Sergio Canos looks across. Luca Dean, he's now trying to explain to the referee that is not the first time he's been clipped. Norgard comes across almost as if he's just carrying on with proceedings. I don't think the referee's going to do much about this, but again, it's something that he's pretty dangerous. Referee, he's just waiting for Everton to get it back underway. Yet there's no punishment. Got a feel for Everton in a way.
I think he gets away with one there, Norgard. Whether or not it's enough for VAR to look at a red is probably too much to say, but that was pretty much a nailed-on yellow for me.
The one thing I will say in his defence, of course, he's not gone to hurt him. The ball's there, he's just mistimed it. Players often will have that instance. There's no malice in it. It's just a strong challenge. Studs are trying to be pointed down into the ground, but there's also no doubt that replay doesn't put him in a very good light either.
No, it doesn't. No, he's got to be very careful now. But in the meantime, a ball played up towards the edge of the Everton box, cleared out for a throw, and Good is winding up for another long throw here.
Yeah, the ball has been wiped down again. Man City is back underway against West Ham. As we see Good just looking across the park, making sure he knows where he wants to put this ball. And we wait to see the delivery come in. He puts power on this one, just throws it into the near post. Pinnock flicks it on. Everton players just get a little bit shaky and panic, and nobody takes control of the situation. So Townsend will set off on his way, trying to put pressure on Henry. But these long throw-ins, it's almost going throwback to the Tony Pulis days at Stoke. But they're an effective weapon when you can use them. And I think Pinnock, that's the second time he's won a header. You've mentioned it earlier. He's normally the one taking them.
Well, it's because Good's in the team. Normally with Good not in the team, Pinnock tends to be one of the better Brentford long throw specialists, so he's always taking the throws, but seen how useful he is when he can actually get in the box to try and get on the end of those throws, as Alan now tries a long ball over the top.
Yeah, floats it towards Janssen, which Eventually it's won back by another Brentford player, and Onyeka's charging to the middle again. Decore outmuscles him, wants it back in the middle as Decore, and he flicks it towards Keane. It's still Brentford 1, Everton 0. The scorelines elsewhere are still the same. Leicester 3, Watford 1. Of course, Man City's only been back underway for a minute, and they're leading 1-0 against West Ham. Keane sends Ivan Toney the wrong way, dribbles out of his way of defence, does the same for Janelt, and now he sets on his way and curls the ball out to the right hand side for Townsend. Sets forward, lays it off to Coleman, whose first touch is poor, and he's not happy at the pass from Townsend, who, the fact he isn't looking his way suggests he knows he's done wrong. Not the greatest pass, and that just for me has just summed up Everton's day. Nothing has stuck all day.
No, and as you say, it's a small detail, but it's a significant one. All that Townsend's got to do is play that ball into space for Coleman to run onto, instead of which he picks out his teammate by just pretty much hitting him straight in the feet, and then there was nothing for Coleman, nothing that Coleman could do about that. But Brentford perhaps slightly risky in playing out from the back. Pinnock in the end forced to clear it long anyway. Yeah,
headed up and away by Coleman, only as far as Onyeka. It was towards Mbeumo, who's barely had a touch in this second half. Coleman's got it back, and Brentford haven't got going in this second 45. Coleman's into the box, running at speed, gets into the penalty area, cuts it back, cleared away by Norgard, only as far as Rondon, who's going for power. It hits a wall, and Janssen flicks it away. Brentford survive, only as time being as Allen's going to line up a shot. Two players get in his way, out to Coleman. They've got bodies in the box across the face. It's a shocker ball, absolutely awful from Seamus Coleman, and as cool as you like, Onyeka towards Toney, who can only give the ball away. The one thing I will say for Brentford, they've got to do better is ball retention. It's just pinging straight back at them.
Yeah, they're trying too quickly to get on the attack, having been in defence, and they lose the ball straight away. Everton coming straight back, and here's Gordon now down the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's out towards Gordon. Canos is the man that's beaten, but he's running the wrong way. A beach on Onyeka. It's a poor pass to Toney, and that's easy for Toney. He feels the pressure of Andros Townsend, and it is a free kick, there's no doubt about that, but it's pretty stupid from Townsend. He knows that the forward's going to want to go to ground, which he does.
But again, Brentford taking it quick to trying to pick out one. Brian and Mbeumo doesn't reach them, and straight away Everton come back on the attack.
Yeah, it's out towards Townsend. He floats it into the far post and floats it into the stance.
I think that effort from Rondon, which was charged down, I've got a feeling that Iwobi might have actually been the man that blocked this. It all starts on the halfway line with Decore laying it off to Coleman. Quick ball down that right-hand side, and when Rondon gets his chance at the edge of the area, Brentford players, you can see, were very scared of giving a penalty away there against Coleman. And as Norgard heads this away, it's Rondon striking it. Well, it's actually Norgard stood next to Iwobi that gets the block in. Very important that Norgard did that as Fernandes was diving across. But warning signs here for Brentford. Need to start doing something here to stop this Everton possession.
Yeah, they do. As they've got to try and get their ideas together. As Coleman goes down the right-hand side, he skips away. Looks back on the middle here for Iwobi, who brings it under control. Iwobi's one of those players that he's got a career as a Premier League player, but I just don't know what he brings. It's a lot of energy to the team, but no real quality. I said that Brentford give it away. There's no quality at all on the park at the moment. There's a lot of effort from Everton. As Iwobi can't keep this in play. That's not his fault. Ball played down the line towards him, but there's just no class. Nobody's touching the ball and bringing it under control. No one's taking control. No one's taking charge.
It's just a little bit too erratic at the moment. Certainly from Brentford's point of view, when they win the ball back off Everton, they give it straight back to the visitors. Everton, for their part, have started this second half better than what they were playing for most of the first. But once again, Brentford just giving it away before it even reaches the halfway line. They're looking a little bit nervous here now, the home side.
They are, which I'm sure Thomas Frank will be looking at across, and maybe does he look at his bench early to try and change things, get things more comfortable for. There's a good half an hour left. This game is far from done. As Keane floats it out to the right-hand side, it's only as far as Coleman. Coleman's got hold of it. He looks back down the line. Benitez telling his players, by the looks of things, to go further down the line. Coleman into Decore. Somebody's got to drive into that space. Decore takes the opportunity to do so. The referee nearly gets in the way of Mbeumo, and it's out to Keane. Luca Dean's got the ball. He's got Gordon on the left wing. He goes and retrieves it. Now can he pick out a pass? He's looking back on the inside. Floated back into the middle for Allen. Allen's shaping if he's going to shoot. He takes further touch forward into Townsend. Out to Coleman. Will he put some loft on the ball? He will. He won't. It'll reach to Corey. He's had a shocker of a day. He kicks it into the air. As far as player coming back from offside, I thought Fernandes gets down to save it anyway. Everton with Iwobi with a right-footed shot down the near post. It was nearly creeping in, but the referee, I didn't see a flag. I thought he'd come back from an offside spot, but the whole point of it is that the keeper's done his job.
He has. Fernandes does make the save as Iwobi misses the first one. It looks as though Alan, it does touch Alan, and he was in an offside position when that original ball was put up in the air. So it'd be interesting to see if it had been scored, whether or not VAR would have got involved. Brentford have cleared it long, and this time they have been able to make it stick inside the Everton half although Everton are back in numbers.
Yeah, and that's just the thing for me. Tony's, he's such a big player in terms of his presence. They've got to try and get him into those areas, hold the ball up to him. But again, it's a short ball in. Keane's too determined. Tony backs out of it, and now here comes Everton. It's a 4-on-2, huge chance here. They side-foot it to Townsend. He needs to go first time. Pinnock's turned. Townsend squares it to Iwobi. They're running out of space. Brentford survive, and Everton make a 4-on-2 situation look oh so hard and don't deal with it. But again, that's the runs. It's just not intelligent enough.
Well, Townsend's a left footer. He should have been thinking about getting a shot away there. Really, just taking a little bit too long, allowing the Brentford defenders to get back. But here comes Iwobi again. Yeah,
Iwobi goes out wide to Gordon. Rondon's got to burst forward. He looks to check the offside flag. The pass wasn't good enough anyway. But that just worries me. I know Iwobi's got to check his onside. Rondon, but you're the furthest man forward, and his directions at the linesman rather than his teammate. He could be screaming at his teammate, go low and hard, get it into the box. Because he's looking in a different direction, he doesn't even tell the player where he wants it.
No, and that is a problem here for Everton. We just saw a stat there, 61% possession for Everton in the second half with 3 efforts, one of them on target. Brentford with just the 1 effort, and that was off target in the second half. So 16 minutes into this second half now. The Bees still haven't tested Jordan Pickford, and it's been a while actually since the ball's been anywhere near Jordan Pickford's penalty area. But there was an offside in the build-up to that last Everton move, and it's now a free kick being taken here by Alvaro Fernandez.
Yeah, just really poor, isn't it, in that respect for Brentford not to put the keeper under too much pressure as they've given it away. Coleman's fouled by Mbuemo. Not what you want to see from your centre-forward when you can't get hold of the ball to then constantly give fouls away. Now it's into the feet of Godfrey, who's going to play it back to Pickford, who for some reason is way out of his goal. And Brentford clear up towards Tony. The ball's got to stick here, and again they just give it away. There's just nobody saying, right, let's just take 5 minutes of this game to get us foot back on the ball, play some good passing. I haven't seen a single player with the intention to do that. As Rondon holds up the play, he bounces Onyeka off his body, and it's fired out from Allen. Out wide it goes, it's up into the air. Now trying to play it into the feet of Townsend, but he can only let it go out for a throw because Pinnock's headed clear. Watford have apparently got a goal back against Leicester.
Well, listening to our colleague who's commentating on that game, he was saying that Watford were actually very unlucky to be losing at half-time, that they actually had more possession than Leicester, and just a combination of bad luck and some bad defending cost Watford the goals they conceded. So potentially there might still be some life in that game now. Yeah,
certainly somebody that's had a decent bit of life this season. That's a shot about from Norgard and Gordon. It was Emmanuel Dennis that's got another goal in the Premier League. He's been a bit of a live wire for the Hornets. As here is Mbuemo. He's got a foul by Allen, who's claiming it's not a foul. The referee for now hasn't got his cards out, but a bit of a body check.
Well, I think Everton are making the point that they felt as though the body check on Anthony Gordon at the start of that Brentford move was similar. We'll see from this angle as Gordon gets away from Canos. You see, I mean, I would argue that that probably is a foul from Norgard, but then the challenge on but then the challenge from Alan certainly was a foul, and there's no doubt about that one. And the referee just marking the spot now. But this will be a welcome break for Brentford to get the ball away from their own half for a moment at least.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grateful situation for them in that instance, as we see Canos complaining with the referee.
Thomas Frank and his assistant there just having a quick discussion as to how this game is going. They'd love for Brentford to do something from this set piece. It's been a while now since Brentford have had any kind of attack at all.
Here we see the ball back at the back post. Keane is looking over his shoulder to try and keep this high line. Tony for now, he's stood offside. He's got to make a move quickly. Canos floats the ball in. Well, I say he floats it. It doesn't even get above knee height. And now he runs into his own teammate, and they collide as Tony tries to get back on the ball. It's just awful from set pieces. Whoever's taken out by Canos is in some discomfort. Norgard goes back to his keeper. Townsend's going to put pressure on Fernandez. I think it could be on Onyeka, who is still in a heap on the floor. Then now Tony and Janelt challenged by Allen in towards the Corey. Referees allowing the game to go on. Of course, it isn't a foul from either of Everton's players. As here is Coleman out to Townsend. Everton are not going to stop the game when Brentford didn't, as Townsend gets it into Allen. Allen's looking out wide. Janelt and Co are trying to tell him to put the ball out of play, but well, end of the day, they've made their bed. Gordon into the box, looking over the head of Decore. Brentford clear. Only as far as Godfrey And Keane gets to it first. Tony and everyone's still complaining.
Yeah, I think Tony was trying to slide in there on Keane, perhaps to try and force a free kick to at least stop the game, as the ball is now played out wide to Digne.
Yeah, Digne puts it in. Rondon, it's too far in front of him. It's cleared away. Gordon gets the ball now. Alan wants it. Brentford's team still unhappy here as Onyeka is slowly getting up to... I say it's actually Henry that's down. He's slowly getting up. And now, Pontus Jansson, as Pontus Jansson will always do, will mouth off here. He's screaming at Luca Dean for the fact that he doesn't think he's down. This is what Jansson does. He's a bit of a body language expert in terms of he's going to show that he's really passionate and he cares a lot about the situation. Brentford cannot moan. Their own player kicked their own player and they ran past him to try and score. Everton don't have any need to kick that ball out. By the way, I hope Rico Henderson is okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those situations where, although Brentford did put the ball out for a previous injury, on this occasion, they could have put the ball out when their man was down, and it was almost like they were unhappy when they lost the ball that Everton didn't put the ball out straight away. It is another one of these grey areas in football. Sometimes the referee will stop play, even if it's not a head injury, if he feels it's something serious. Other times he won't do. And on this occasion, I mean, in fairness, even after that injury to Henry, Brentford could have actually tried to put the ball out themselves a bit quicker. They didn't do it. They cleared it down the middle, straight away to an Everton player, and straight away they were complaining that the ball wasn't put out. So a little bit of confusion here. There's going to be a booking here for the Brentford captain as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's done as a reputation. He's a really solid defender. He's Pontus Jansson. Rondon is now carded as well, but he's got that in him where he likes to let everyone know that he's the one that's demonstrating things. He'll always pick up cards for it. He'll do it for the rest of his career. Now, had Brentford tried to kick that ball out and Everton would stop that from happening, I'm bang on Pontus Jansson's side and everyone else's side. I must admit, the one thing I can understand from Brentford's point of view is he must have been down for over a minute. So the referee hasn't stopped it.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing another replay of that foul from Canos. He knees Luca Digne in the thigh from behind. I mean, that really is borderline second yellow, and you can see Canos looking a little bit concerned there towards the referee. And I think maybe Pontus Jansson, as you say, perhaps he did that partly to try and distract the referee from who'd actually committed the foul in the first place.
Yeah, it's a good spot, actually. And I must admit, that's going to hurt anyway. It's never mind going to hurt when it's nearly minus degrees. That is going to kill the muscle in the leg. It's going to be a dead leg for Luca Digne when he gets back up, and he's hoping to get back on. The ball is just not stuck for Brentford in that final third. It's just gone up towards Mbeumo, who hasn't been able to get hold of the ball. Out wide it goes to Gordon. Brentford, to their credit, despite not testing Jordan Pickford from open play, are still leading by 1-0 here. But I don't think it's a comfortable position they're in, is it? They need a second goal to really kill the game off. Everton are on top, and you do wonder if Everton score in the next few minutes with so much time left, they've got the time to go and get a second as Allen comes forward. Good goalkeeping, good organisation at the back from Brentford. That's much better in terms of a keeper taking charge, Pickford-esque almost, because that's what he would have done.
Absolutely, yeah. Alan realised that he didn't really have any way of playing that ball to a teammate, so he decided to put the ball into space and chase after it himself, but Fernandes reacting quickly.
Yeah, one ball played forward, and now they've got to try and get it up towards Tony. This time he does get it towards Janelt. That's a better ball into Mbeumo. Potential attack here for odds Brentford, as the ball's played too far in front of Ivan Toney. If that's the other way around, Tony to Mbeumo, I think he's getting to it, but the big man up front isn't as quick, and they've won a throw. But that was much, and I'm not being patronising here, it was ball to feet 3 times in a row. Exactly what they needed to do. They've just been trying to play these ambitious passes. Damari Gray's lined up to come on off the bench for Everton, as we've got the stoppage in play, and because of that we've also got Baptiste coming on for Brentford. So both managers have had enough. There's 22 minutes to go, and it'll now be Paul to take us through to full time.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yes, and they're still finally poised this game. Really, as it stands, Brentford do lead by a goal to nil from that Ivan Toney penalty in the first half, but still plenty of life left in this game, and now Brentford will be hoping to have a prolonged attack in front of the Everton goal as Good launches a throw into the box, just a little bit short, headed away by Alan. Really has been everywhere for Everton this afternoon. Janelt back to Good on that left-hand side, and then Alan once again puts the challenge in and actually gets the deflection off Good as well, so it's out for a Everton throw now, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Going to see these changes for both teams now. Shandon Baptiste getting ready to come on for Brentford, and it's going to be for Christian Norgard, who's had a quiet game considering that he's a central midfielder. Really, he hasn't seen too much of the balls, and that's a sign perhaps that he's just not really got into the game very much today.
No, I'll be honest, I don't think any Brentford midfielders impressed me in the middle. They haven't taken control of the game, and I think that is a change that's possibly necessary as Damari Gray comes on for Townsend. That's not me criticising Norgard in particular. I just think it hasn't been a game that Brentford have been able to control, is it? I've seen Norgard have some brilliant games for Brentford. I do like him. We've realised Onyeka's playing because of his forward runs rather than his passing. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Onyeka hasn't had an exemplary performance as a central midfielder. He's had a very busy afternoon trying to get on the end of as many things as he can, and there he is with the head there, trying to get the ball through to Tony, who shoulders the ball away from Coleman. He plays a long ball up to him, which is headed away by Keane, but it drops straight to Baptiste. His first touch of the ball is to play it out wide to Sergi Canos. Brentford players streaming into the box. Canos can't get the cross in though. Challenge from Dean, and it's out for a throw, but this is a chance now to try and get players into the box again.
It is, and you're looking at Sergio Canos. He hasn't been great today in terms of his distribution, but he's so lively, isn't he? He'd be the player that you'd think today he's going to do something to create for the front two. They're going to try another long throw for a second, but they changed their minds.
They do change their minds. It's just played short now to Janot. Janot then puts the ball in, which is headed up in the air by Godfrey, still at the edge of the area. Ducour then hooks it up in the air, but doesn't get too much distance on it. It drops to Good, takes a touch at the edge of the area, tries to get it to a teammate, made a bit of a mess of that, and all of a sudden Brentford are caught out at the back, but Everton have made a mess of that, have they? Yes, they have. Anthony Gordon should have left the ball for Demarai Gray. That's certainly what the Everton substitute is suggesting, but a combination of the two of them have meant that it's out of play and a throw to Brentford now.
It is. I don't know if anything sums up Everton today more than that, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I say, that was a great chance for them to go on the counter when you consider that Brentford still had too many players forward. That's something that Brentford still have as a hangover from their championship days. They do send too many players forward for set pieces. The goal they conceded against Leicester a month ago was perfect evidence of that. For far too many players forward, and in the end, Daka and Maddison pretty much had half the pitch to work with by themselves. But the Bees now just seeing a little bit more of the ball in these last few minutes as Janelt plays the ball through to Mbuemo. First time pass to Tony. Brentford's passing all over the pitch, not just in midfield. Has been a little bit off this afternoon, more than a little bit off at times. And Alan now for Everton, trying a long diagonal ball to play in Alex Iwobi. Good header away by Pinnock. Ball drops to Onyeka. And now it's with Canos back towards Good. And he plays it all the way back towards Alvaro Fernandez, who under a bit of pressure there from Rondon, but still had time to play the ball out towards Pinnock. 72 minutes gone. It's independent off-tube studio commentary. Brentford 1, Everton 0. Scoreline hasn't changed since the 24th minute when Ivan Toney converted from the penalty spot. Throw to Everton down the right-hand side. Coleman, his ball he actually fires it into Ducour, but Everton still recycle that, and it's now with Gray back towards Digne on the left-hand side. Now it's with Alan. Once again, Brentford just backing off a little bit here as Everton push forward down the left here with Gordon. Goes back into Demarai Gray. Options there at the edge of the area for Gray. Just been stopped there by Janot out towards Digne. First time in towards Gordon. Back towards Gray again. Options left and right, but he goes back towards Godfrey. Godfrey now towards Iwobi on the right-hand side. It looks like Rico Henry had stopped him, but Iwobi still gets away from him. He plays it inside now towards Gray. He had no way into the penalty area, so he goes out wide to Digne. Digne then with a little bit of pace plays the ball in towards Gordon. But Brentford doing what they can to try and marshal the edge of the area. Now Gordon does find some space when he goes on the overlap. His cross into the box drops straight to Ivan Toney, who's come back into his own box, and then Toney forces the ball off Coleman and out for a Brentford goal kick.
I don't want to curse Brentford here because I think it'd be great for them to win, but I don't know how many crosses Everton could put in today that wouldn't reach an Everton shirt, maybe 1,000. I don't want to curse Brentford, but how many balls have they put in that are decent?
They have. I mean, they've struggled to put decent balls in, haven't they? They've had enough possession in and around the box to put pressure on Brentford, but every time they get a chance to put a ball in, I mean, that last one from Coleman fired at the feet of Ducour, who's still about 10 yards away from the penalty area.
As a result, we've not even seen what Brentford can do defensively because we've not had to see many defensive headers. They're always over the top, they're on the floor. I know Brentford set pieces themselves haven't been that good, but it's just been a game starved of quality, which, to be honest, we can't be that surprised. They've no winning 5 each. Confidence isn't. Nerves are going to be playing their part.
Yeah, they certainly are. And the nerves from Brentford, who are leading against an Everton side who haven't been in good form, who have a lot of the ball but aren't really able to do much with it. But here come the visitors again with Digne, slightly more pace on the cross this time. But it's continuing theme again, far too close to the goalkeeper.
More pace on the ball, fine. Rondon goes to the near post. If Salman Rondon isn't picked out by that cross, it cannot pick out another blue shirt because he's the only one that's up there enough. I know Decore crept in at the end, but it's just amateur stuff. It reminds me very much of a team that they're just saying, right, we'll get the ball in the box, we've done our bit, but there's no intuition behind any of it. I get the total opposite feeling when I watch Tony and Mbeumo. You can clearly tell the rapport they've got with each other.
Yeah.
This looks like they've just met each other. It's like they've just met Rondon at half 3 this morning. He's got on the bus with them. They've got down to London. They've gone, right, you're going to need to stand up front. It's so alien to them. But again, he has barely played, so...
Yeah, well, it's still very disjointed here from Everton, but just by sheer weight of possession, if Brentford don't do something to stop the amount of possession Everton have, then just war of attrition almost, eventually one of these balls is going to find its intended target as Gordon puts one in, and it almost gets through to Rondon. He turns away from Good, lays it off to Gray now. Gray trying to find space for the shot. Scuffed effort, almost turned out like a good through ball there for Rondon. But diving onto that one is Alvaro Fernandez.
Yeah, the keeper deals with it like he should do, to be honest. It's trickling into his path. Rondon is feeding off scraps. He's done very well, I think, to actually even get that to the ball. But, yeah, just a real lack of cohesion in that final third. I said it earlier, it's the exact same issue that Leeds have got. It's the same issue that Newcastle have got. What Brentford have managed to do, like they proved last week, is I think even when they don't defend very well, they're going to be a threat going forward, aren't they, scoring goals? That's how Leeds did well last year. I think Brentford overall, though, as a team, they've looked really, organised. I'm very sure that anyone that's in a red and white shirt in that ground is starting to feel the cold, because they're going to start to get that nervous edge about them. I don't know if they need to make another change, just to try and shore things up a little bit.
I think so. But possibly thinking about
fresher legs.
Yeah, maybe Canos, who's on a yellow and has already been close to a second yellow, potentially taking him off to bring on someone like Rasmussen or Sorensen, just to have a bit more of a defensive mind as a ball is played in, just flicked on by Ducour, but it actually gets away from Rondon. Cleared up towards the halfway line. Good header on from Tony, but the second ball drops straight to Michael Keane. And this time, though, Onyeka steps forward. He does win the ball back for Brentford, but it's a terrible pass. He just flicks it into a space where there was no Brentford player within 5 yards. I don't know who he was trying to pass to there.
Now, I'm going to defend him here, because you made a great point in the first half. When Ivan Toney headed that ball and it came back, there wasn't a single red and white shirt on the screen. They're so deep. As Canos gets across, Janssen clears. They're too deep, but I understand, and I'm sure they're being told what to do. And if they're following instructions, fair play. But the gap between the two centre-forwards in the midfield is ginormous. And that is why Onyeka, when he looked up, he had no pass on. So he thought, well, I'll take it around the man. I'll try and keep it to myself. They've made a change. I think it's Rico Henry,
It's Henry that's off and Mads Roslev that's on. That in itself doesn't surprise me, but I don't know. I still think I would have preferred to maybe see Canos go off, just because of the fact that there is that yellow card on for there is that yellow card for Canos, and I don't know, but maybe Henry's still feeling that injury that caused that whole furore a bit earlier in the half as well. But so we've got 13 minutes to play plus injury time. Brentford still lead by a goal to nil. They're in possession now with Vitaly Janelt sending a huge ball up towards the edge of the Everton half. It's headed down by Godfrey, and then the loose ball swept away here by Seamus Coleman. That's headed on by Ethan Pinnock, and then it drops to Frank Onyeka. Under pressure there from Rondon, finds Sergi Canos. Canos up towards Tony. I thought he might have been clipped there. Referee Darren England says nothing doing. And here come Everton now down the right-hand side with Iwobi. Plays it in towards Gray. Gray's ball across. That's the ball that Everton need. Just nobody close enough to cut that into the net. But it's Gordon recycling it down the left-hand side. He plays it back to Dean. Dean then goes on the run, breaks into the box, runs into two Brentford players, and a combination of Good and Roslev just about win the ball back, and then Dean brings his man down as well. That's good news as far as Brentford are concerned. It just slows things down.
It does, and it's exactly what they need, isn't it? 10-20 seconds to just get back to your feet, regroup, get your defence back in order.
This is a much better ball, though, from Gray. Just didn't have anyone in the right place to finish it off.
Yeah, which is, Rondon's gone near post. I think the difference Calvert-Lewin will make to this team when he comes back is light and day, I'll be honest. I don't think they'll struggle as much without him. He's a real top operator, but that is miles better from Demarai Gray, who is coming back from injury. So, no surprise he had to start on the bench. Big 12 minutes for both teams, really, Paul, because Brentford get the win. Fixture list, I'm sure, will be tough to them over Christmas. Everton get a goal back. It could ignite their season.
It certainly could, and with 11 minutes still to play, Everton very much in the ascendancy as Iwobi holds the ball up on the right-hand side, goes back to Gray, back to Iwobi now as Coleman breaks into the box, tries to hold it up for Iwobi. That one is quickly cleared towards the halfway line. Tony is chasing this one, but Pickford, who steps a long way out from his goal, he gets there first. He tries a diagonal ball to pick out Anthony Gordon. It's too high for him. It's irrelevant anyway because there's an offside flag in the meantime. I've just noticed that Mads Roslev has actually gone over towards the right-hand side. means that Canos potentially is now the left-sided the defender there, the left-sided left wing back for Brentford now towards the end of this game. As Everton still have 2 substitutions to make. Brentford have just got the one. Looking at the other scores, no change. It's still Leicester City 4, Watford 2. And around 8 minutes behind our game, Man City are still leading against West Ham by a goal to 0. That second half delayed slightly as they were trying to clear the snow off the Etihad Stadium pitch. But Brentford, they've got away with one there, have Brentford. I'll tell you what, because they took a free kick quickly and they lost the ball. The referee decided that the free kick wasn't... I think it looks to me as though the free kick's going to be taken again. Tony gets clattered there by Godfrey. Godfrey then pulls onto Ivan Toney's shirt and brings him down. Brentford took the free kick quickly initially, but I think the referee didn't want the free kick to be taken quickly because he wanted to book Ben Godfrey. Everton saw that as a way of Brentford getting a second chance to take that free kick because they'd already taken it and lost the ball. But it is a free kick to the Bees now. It's around 30 yards out. Canos and Janelt standing over. It's pretty much in a straight line from the penalty spot, so it's neither left nor right really, very central. Still probably a little bit too far to think about the shot, but that doesn't mean to say that Canos won't be considering it here. Everton trying to set up just at the edge of the area with their offside line as well. And referee down in England now happy for this free kick to be taken. Good did start off in an offside position. He's trotted back towards the edge of the area now. Tony once again quite consciously standing offside, but it is floated in by Canos. Such a waste of a free kick. Still too much height and pace on that one, and Pinnock had no chance of keeping that in play.
No, he didn't, and it was pretty poor in that respect. I think Brentford's set pieces today have been very bad. No offence to their set piece tactician, whoever they've got behind it. The best thing for Brentford is that Everton's have just been as bad as well. So
I think that one goal that Brentford did get in the first half is proving to be very, very significant. It's certainly changed the way this game has been played in the second half, with Everton looking to try and get forward, not really able to create too many chances. But the fact that Brentford are only a goal up and Brentford looks so unlikely to score in this second half with having so little possession means that the final minutes of this game could prove to be very, very stressful indeed for anyone following Brentford. But now the ball is played up towards the halfway line, headed forward by Alan. Loose ball was missed by Mbuemo, but there was a raised boot there from Ducour, which gives Brentford the free kick, taken quickly by Janelt to pick out Onyeka. He then goes down the right-hand side to find Roslev. Roslev runs straight into Digne, wins his side a throw. And this is slightly better for Brentford because at least the ball's in the Everton half a little bit more now.
I mean, I'm just thinking there when you started talking about Brentford's style of play a little bit. It's been a really weird game. We've actually only had one proper good chance in terms of penalty, and the rest of it's just been a bit of a nothing game. But it hasn't been a boring one. It hasn't been, because Everton have tried to score. It hasn't been one of those situations where you're just begging for someone to do something. I watched the Championship game on Friday, West Brom and Nottingham Forest. It was atrocious. This hasn't been that. I'll be delighted for Brentford if they can go and get the win. As you say, they've just won the ball higher at the pitch. They've got a chance to lob the ball in the box. This is where they want Everton. They don't want to be sat back absorbing pressure. It's my biggest bugbear in football anyway, is when you just invite pressure and then get shocked when you concede.
Absolutely, yeah. You're basically setting up to not concede, but you're not really doing anything other than just waiting for the opposition to attack. It's a recipe for disaster, really.
And then when you do concede, what do you do?
Exactly, there's no plan B because you've set up to defend for the whole game. Good's initial throw is quickly headed out back into midfield. Janelt then pumps the ball into the box, which is straight to Pickford. He then slams the ball down the right-hand side here for Damari Gray. Gray taking on Canos, gets away from him, puts a cross in. That's great covering there from Janelt because Iwobi was ready to get on the end of that one, and it's hooked away back into midfield. But Everton comes straight back here down the left-hand side with Luca Digne. Digne now leaves it for Gordon, back towards Alan. Here's Anthony Gordon again, rolling the ball back towards Michael Keane. Square now to Seamus Coleman, who looks up, puts the ball into the box. That's a header from Rondon, and he really gets some power on that one, does the Venezuelan international, but the ball got just wide of the top corner.
It's a good effort, it really is. It's into the near post. I think, is it Janssen marking him? Janssen does a great job in fairness. Yes, he gets the head to it, but the best thing Janssen can then do is make sure he gets touch tight so that he makes life as difficult as he can. It's tough for Rondon in terms of if he scores from there, it's a magnificent header, isn't it? Rather than poor defending.
We've had 16 shots on goal in this game. Brentford with just 4 of them. Everton with 12. But the stat of on target, it's actually 4-3 to Everton. So certainly lacking a bit of accuracy with their efforts, Everton, but considering that they barely had an effort in the first half, they just had a couple. There was that one dangerous effort where Fernandes was forced into a save from a tight angle. But certainly in this second half, Everton have had a lot more of the ball, and now Brentford looking to try and hold on to it in midfield as Onyeka goes back to Janel. He plays an early ball over the top, looking for Brian Mbeumo, who tries to spin away from Digne. Well, he does spin away from Digne, but he forgot about the ball, and Digne able to now win it back for Everton. Plays it short to Alan. Steps forward and plays it square to Seamus Coleman. We've still got 5 minutes to play, plus injury time here at the Brentford Community Stadium, as Demarai Gray now goes down the right-hand side. He's got Onyeka stopping him getting towards goal. He rolls it back towards Godfrey, who is just inside the Brentford half. Back to Demarai Gray. Brentford playing an offside line just at the edge of their own area, trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Everton to gain any kind of territory. It's with Iwobi now out to Coleman. And Coleman rolls it back towards Ben Godfrey. So this is a long period of possession now for Everton without really gaining any territory. Iwobi over towards Alan. And he plays it towards the left-hand side now for Digne. With options, plays it in towards Alan. A bit of pressure there, goes forward now towards Ducour. Ducour now to Demarai Gray. Out towards Seamus Coleman. One under pressure, going back to Gray. Visitors now trying to find a way into the box. Gray taking on Onyeka, getting away from him, puts the cross in, which is blocked by Ethan Pinnock. Ivan Toney wanted to go out for a throw. No chance. There was nowhere near enough pace on it. So he goes back to Onyeka, who clears it straight to Michael Keane. And once again, Everton back in possession. Here comes Coleman now towards Demarai Gray. Gray puts a good ball in. Everyone leaves it for each other, and in the end, it goes out for a corner. But that was more luck than judgment, I think, from Brentford on that last one.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, was it, in terms of taking control, Paul, of the situation. The one thing I will critique Brentford for today is they've allowed too many crosses into the box. And I'll notice it is mainly Sergio Canos. And it's not his job, I understand. He's not a defender. But they seem to have targeted that Everton. He doesn't block the cross enough. But yeah, Everton have not been good enough in those situations, so they've managed to get away with it. He's now coming off.
It's a strange one, though. We've got a forward-thinking midfielder who plays as a right back, being replaced by a centre forward, or at least an attacking winger in Johan Visser, who has scored a couple of big goals for Brentford off the bench against Liverpool and against West Ham. Then he got a bit of an injury which just slowed down his progress here at the Community Stadium. But he's on the field now, Johan Visser. We'll see what he can do. As I say, he's scored 3 goals for Brentford in the Carabao Cup as well, against Forest Green and 2 against Oldham. It was those goals off the bench against Liverpool and West Ham that really put Visser certainly made him an early favourite already here at Brentford, with that celebration of him sort of doing I guess it's almost like a yoga move where he sort of sits down when he scores. But in the meantime, Everton have got on the attack down the left. It's put in to the box, and it's quickly cleared by Ethan Pinnock. So with 2.5 minutes of regulation play still to go, Everton have got a corner down the left-hand side. It's Anthony Gordon standing over this one. Plenty of activity inside that penalty area as Gordon whips this one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Ivan Toney with the header. The ball drops to Digne. His strike is charged down inside the penalty area before it's swept away towards the halfway line. But Brentford haven't left anybody up there, and that makes sense as far as I'm concerned. They need everyone in the box. Pickford rushing towards the halfway line to get this ball back towards Alan, but then it's cleared away from the edge of the area. And all of a sudden, Brentford may have a chance to go on the counter. Janelt finds Ivan Toney. Once again, it's Alan, just unstoppable this afternoon for Everton. Toney then bumps into Demarai Gray, at least wins the ball back for Brentford before Alvaro Fernandez puts a very poor ball out from the edge of the area out for a throw to Everton. So, it's looking like a bit of a chaotic end to this game. Still no change in the other two scores. Leicester leading 4-2 against Watford. Man City 1-0 up against West Ham. The Burnley Spurs game was postponed because of the snow. But here come Everton now as a cross comes in. It's looping. Oh, I tell you what, it was just under the bar. Fernandes, you felt he always had it under control, but there was just that second there where it was up in the air. You thought it might just surprise the goalkeeper. Yeah,
but again, he deals with it, doesn't he? He sorts himself out. He gets underneath the ball. He's in a good spot. No real drama, but yeah, he has something to do. I think it is going to nestle in that. It's one of those situations Rondon can't touch him, can he? So the keeper's just slipped, actually. And I have noticed this they don't seem to bother letting keepers stay in their box nowadays. They're not bothered where they take their kicks out their hands, because that was not in inside his penalty area.
No, it's almost like as long as he's holding the ball just about in the box as he's starting the goal kick, as he's starting the punt out, then they almost allow it. I absolutely agree that that and the back pass. I mean, when the back pass rule, you might be a little bit too young to remember when that rule actually came in, but I remember seeing those poor old goalkeepers in the early 90s panicking that they couldn't pick the ball up when their defenders were passing it to them. Now, of course, keepers are almost like outfield players with gloves on, but in those early days, you used to see a lot more of those infringements where defenders, whether it was just force of habit or just panicking, laid the ball off to the keeper, and it was almost calculated. They think, well, I might as well just pick this up, because if I miss kick it, it's going to be a goal anyway. But certainly there, I thought that Fernandes was pushing the limits of that penalty area. We're into injury time, and no surprise, there's going to be a fair amount of it. 5 minutes have been put up by our fourth official, Mr. Brooks. It goes out for a throw to Everton now down the left-hand side, level with the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Dean is across to take this one. It's got Decor and Gordon as the short opportunity. Prefers to go a lot further back, though, towards Alan. And then he tries a diagonal ball into the box. Pinnock's underneath that one, but Rondon gets there first. And then it drops to Gray inside the penalty area. Gray trying to find space for the shot on Yeka. Has got to be careful that he doesn't put too much of a challenge in. As Gray tries to play a 1-2 with Coleman. It actually deflects off a Brentford player into the 6-yard box. Swept away by Janel. And then Brian Mbeumo takes a touch down the left-hand side, plays a long ball down this left channel for Ivan Toney. And Toney, if he can hold this up, well, it's a good challenge there from Godfrey, but at least he gets the ball away from the Brentford penalty area.
Miles better. That little second that Mbeumo waited just to look down the line and wait, and those two, just being so in sync, will do Brentford the world of good. Brilliant. And I like the Brentford defending then. They just smothered the near post, which meant the cross had to be either to the back stick or take a look at deflection.
Brentford don't want to take too much of a time on taking this throw. Ivan Toney's already put the ball. There's going to be a booking here for Mbeumo, and he deserves it. I'm sorry, but he does. You can't have a situation where Toney limbers up to take a throw. He then leaves it for Mbeumo, who then leaves it for another teammate. That is too much. I know that there are certain sections of certain teams that really have taken to Brentford's antics in certain games. I know that they didn't win themselves any fans in East London or indeed in Wolverhampton after those away wins, but that is a little bit too much there from Brentford, and no surprise that Mbeumo gets the yellow.
I can't agree with you anymore. Every single word you said. Petty, he's just tried his hand, hasn't he? He's hoping that the referee's having a caring day. He's just wasted too much time. Deserves the card all day long. Absolutely,
yes. And we've still got 3 minutes of injury time to play here, as the ball goes out for a throw to Everton down the right-hand side. The Leicester-Watford game is into injury time as well. Leicester still leading 4-2. You can see the touch map there for Ivan Toney. He really has been all over the place for Brentford this afternoon. In a good way. What I mean by that is not that he's been chaotic, but he has been all over the pitch in trying to do his work from the front.
I don't know how you can't like his style of play. Him and Mbeumo have got a great thing going on. I think Tony's great. He could do with a few more goals to maybe silence the critics, but he's playing for a team that are supposed to be relegation candidates. He leads the line. He's brave, and he's one thing as well is he's not the quickest, but he's not lazy, is he? He just works tirelessly in so many different areas of the pitch.
He does, and it was a big goal from, as you mentioned, at Newcastle last week. Although you have to say that Carl Darlow almost gets an assist for the way that goal was scored. It pretty much went straight through his hands. But Toney really has taken to life here at Brentford with that fantastic first season, setting a new record in terms of goals being scored in the Championship, although that record is very much in danger with Alexander Mitrovic this season. Fulham man has been unstoppable when he's, of course, not just scoring goals for Fulham, but he also got a massive goal for Serbia to dump Portugal into the playoffs and give Serbia an automatic qualification berth for the World Cup. So certainly plenty happening in West London.
Still only 25, Tony, as well. He's got plenty of years to improve
does,
as well.
Yeah, he certainly does. And I think that he's come into the Premier League at just the right time, having had a couple of very strong seasons in the League One and the Championship. And as I say, perhaps not getting the goals that he would have liked, but still very much part of a Brentford team that are trying to fight. As here comes on Yekana, wins the ball off Alan at the edge of the area, plays it into Visser. Visser didn't need to hit that first time. I dare say that those Everton players streaming around him just perhaps rushed the B substitute there, but he could have taken a touch.
He could, and probably should. But again, it's that hindsight, isn't it? I thought that's pretty determined play. I actually thought the original player that won it back was it Baptiste. I thought he could have had a goal, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. But now it's Baptiste Baptiste wins it back for Brentford in midfield, and it's hooked up in the air by Tony. We've just been praising him, but that is just a punt upfield. That's not even a pass. And Digne, in fairness, returns the favour and slams that one straight down the left-hand side.
I will praise Baptiste. I like his little bit of intricate working, little build-up plays. At least as a sub, he's come on and made a difference. And I think that's important for Brentford in what is 30 seconds away from a very big win.
Absolutely, yes. Baptiste, the 23-year-old, signed from Oxford alongside Tariq Fosu. Both those players have had glimmers in the first team, but as I say, just unable to bed down. Fosu, of course, now with a long-term injury as well, is missing for the time being. But we've pretty much had the 5 minutes of injury time now. Just seconds remain. It's a long throw headed on by Tony, taken down now by Johan Visser. Visser plays that to the edge of there. It deflects into the path of Baptiste. It then finds Tony. Tony in the box trying to get it back to Visser. And then Visser's got a few options here. He takes a couple of men on and then plays that square into the box. It's taken down by Mbuemo. Goes over the bar. It's you could say it's almost a wasted effort from Brentford in the end, but it's time wasted as well, and then they'll certainly be pleased about that.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone get in the way as much as Visser. He got in the way of 3 people trying to shoot, but it was all his own doing, so he deserved the chance to go for goal, but everyone else had a better option. But there goes the full-time whistle. Fantastic win.
Yeah, it's a win for Brentford. They've had to work very hard. Everton had the possession in the second half, but didn't really create the chances. A lack of quality in terms of the crossing, but Brentford have just about eked out this win, and it's a very important win for Brentford as well. For myself, Paul Shabakovic and Tom Hill, thank you very much. Join us again soon.